Welcome to the Real Africa podcast, a place where we encourage you to watch African films and we also review those films and some Hollywood films. So today we're having a very special film by an African writer and director. But before we get into it, I'm Heath, and to my right and left, I have a couple of gentlemen who will introduce themselves.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Kenneth, and I'm very happy to talk about film with you guys.
My name is Clive. I'm a last born.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that
In a good way, in a bad way.
It just makes sense.
it makes sense. What are you guys watching lately? Which African films have you watched lately? Not for review, but just
The second, I found myself watching the first movie she made from the other filmmaker on becoming a guinea fowl. Her first movie is called I Am Not a Witch. Yeah, and it's also a slow burn, and it follows this young girl who is taken to a rehabilitation camp for witches. It's such a weird concept, but life happens, so it's not. I haven't watched it all at once, but not because it's boring. It's because I've just been sleeping off when I get there. But it's what I've been watching of it has been really interesting. So, yeah.
I'm going to search for it. Ken, what are you watching?
I've been watching more TV series. I don't think, apart from the movies we are reviewing, I haven't sat down to watch a movie. I've been watching The Industry. I don't know if you guys watch.
Oh yeah, that's the series that I watch but fail to understand.
None of us understand it. We watch it to feel clever.
I even did,
Sort of the clever shit you just ignore. The drama.
Yeah.
Drama between the people.
Because their acting just lets you know that, this is a bad thing. I don't know what they're talking about, but clearly it's a bad thing. Guys,
Intensity, the build up, I like it. And the other thing I actually really, really like about Industry, because I think universally, I think maybe the writers are the ones who are stupid, because when people in us don't understand what they're writing about, but it has many knockoff podcasts. So every episode that ends, there are so many people, some from filmmaking, some from finance, and some from tech, coming to sort of analyze what the episode was about. Yeah, so it has a good ecosystem, which I think is going to be sort of the future of TV shows. So I the thing you mentioned last time about what Netflix ruined by dumping a whole season at once, the moments, I think they may probably, what's going to happen for cable, HBO and so on and so forth, is they release one episode by one episode, and then sort of create this room for podcasters to come and pile on. And this happened, I think the first time for me I experienced that reaction thing is the Drake and Kendrick beef, where the whole beef was taken up by YouTube. Sort of YouTube took control of the beef, and people were making videos, commenting, explaining hip hop and stuff like that. And I think this is going to be slightly the future of hip hop, TV. Yeah. So that's also what we are doing with our film. So we are going to release our short film. We did a political short film, and then we got scared because we thought,
because you are where you are.
We are where we are, but we figured we are going to record a podcast first, explaining the film.
So you're going to spoil the film?
No, we release them both at once. So we'll recommend for you to watch the film before you watch it.
It sounds like your side chick threatened to tell your wife, so you call her first. Listen, you're going to get a call from. But I love you, and nothing can. We are stronger than this.
I think anyway, but I've been watching Industry, and then the shit I don't understand, I listen to the podcast, and then I do a second watch, because for me I like the dynamic. I like the dramatic dynamic more than I understand some of the stuff, but even the stuff I understand, they don't understand.
Understand it.
With some context, it's a 2-watch thing. So usually that's why I like it. I watch once, then I hear people's opinions, then I watch again.
So I think for me, I just as the plot points happen, I just attach, this is betrayal. Oh, this is secret keeping. Like,
It's very Shakespearean. The themes are so big. It's like betrayal, hypocrisy.
Exactly. So that's what I go with. Oh, this is sacrifice. When the video came, that is sacrifice.
Yes. So it's sort of like, it's like typical drama. It's not.
But I hear he's shortchanged Starling to the thing. Now it's going in a dump of. I'm like, guy.
But that I have to even the actors understand it.
They are just.
I think they try to avoid what Christopher Nolan does.
Exposition.
Christopher Nolan will first give you a physics lecture. Then, this means this means that.
Wait, I tried watching Tenet again. First of all, it's so weird. Like, it's the one movie where you try to rewind it and then it goes forward. So, like, you can't win with this movie. You're like, okay, so Kodeyo, I don't want Dayo Zeyen. So, like, where.
I think we can play a game. How many times did you watch Tenet to get it?
I'm still watching it to
It
get.
was twice. I got it the first time. Then I watched the YouTube and realized what I had gotten was the wrong thing.
Wait.
So I went
It's
back.
actually the Dreams one. This thing.
Inception.
That I watched maybe 3 times to sort of like fill in the context. But Tenet, I think maybe the thing with Tenet is I watched it after I'd had people told me go prepare. So I went like I'm going for math class. I was like, huh?
Well, like,
Then I got it. I was like, okay, I see where he's going.
I'm not among his friends because me, I'm on like my 4th watch. I was like, let's try this time. They're like, first go back. We went back, the car went forward. I'm like, what's going on now?
I really understood Tenet. I did. I liked it. I hated the music. They did the music. The first release of it, the music was loud.
I thought that was my device's problem.
The first release. Then when I think last year when they really released it, they had fixed that problem. So now you could hear. I like the concept of time travel. For me, time travel is something that's fascinating.
This was like what time walking. I don't even know anymore.
It's still time travel because
But manually,
Robert
not.
Pattinson went back and he's stuck in that world. But that's Nolan. I think he's the only director who's allowed to get away with such stories.
But again, just like we said about industry, I just attached like the feeling to it. At the end of, I saw Robert Pattinson, I was like, oh, so he's sacrificing himself in some way. I don't even know what way. But I'm like, he's a good guy. Well, I don't know what's happened. I don't want to pretend that I understood. What was the last... That's what I saw. But like, what was the last mission? They were hiding what in the future, but the past was fighting the future. And the other guy came to defend. Man, let's go on the review because now I'm getting a headache.
Okay, so today we are going to review. What are we reviewing today?
Well, today we are looking at Hakim Zziwa's Building 62. Remember, we sat here and we said movie producers or people who make films should market their movies. Remember, we said that when we were interviewing Kenneth Kihire, something that you should watch. Kennedy Kihire, when we were interviewing him and he was talking about distribution and marketing of films, we said producers and movie makers should market their films in whichever channel they have. So we came across Hakim Zziwa marketing his own film. And he has his own page and he was doing the same thing that we talked about here. And we were moved and we were like, okay, let's watch the film. Let's watch the film, let's review it. So it's not an ad. It is not an ad, but it is a critical look at a film that a producer or a writer and director, since he has all those titles, is going way out of his normal means to market it. Building 62. So the plot is simple. We're having a depressed... Okay, he says... This is the plot and I'm reading it off IMDb, not what I watched. But he says a depressed university student is curious after uncovering her late father's political history. And when she does so, it turns out to be that she's now going to fight for her life, just to find out what the dad was involved in. Like, it's a search that turns into something that's deadly. The actors or the cast, we're having Brenda Clare, Ntembe Dennis, Samuel Ibanda, Maureen Mona, who I think we have heard of. And It's directed, yes, still by Hakim Zziwa. It's listed on IMDb and it has a score of 9.1 out of 10 reviews.
By 9 voters who are all his family.
He had
Who was the poet one? A newborn.
The uncle is the one. The uncle is the one who refused to give it a 10. So it's 9.1.
God. So, did you watch the film? How did you rate it? Let's start with Ken. What did you make of the film?
Yeah, so I think there is some effort for Ugandan filmmakers to step up the technical part. Yeah, and I think this is very clear. I know we talk a lot about Lukman on this podcast, but Hakim is real competition for Lukman. I think that in terms of like the technical approach to filmmaking, it's visually, I thought that he got the basics right. I think that he got the basics right. My own choices say on like how you choose the lens, how you select the frame, how you compose the frame, how you choose the colors. I think most of those things he got right. When it comes to blocking, how the sets, one of the big sets is that restaurant set. The way he blocked it, so this guy moves through, the chibanda comes into the restaurant and moves at the side. It's very cliche scene from a Hollywood film. Walking through the side, sees sees Mona sitting down. Mona is playing also. Okay, we'll call her Mona. So they see her sitting down, and then he walks back on the side, so they can pan the cameras behind the pillars and stuff like that. It's very cliche, but it works. It works cinematographically. It works. Then also the fighting scene, the fact that he left room for us to see the people running out of the restaurant. I thought that, attention to the technical detail in terms of like visually, he got those things well done for my taste. He didn't overcolor. I think this is one thing that I don't like about Lukman is the color is not so natural, at least for my eye. Hakim's thing is good. It's sort of, it's not, it doesn't, I think you said this once, it doesn't take you out of the film. It's part of the film. It blends well within the film. I like that. Then the choreography is nice. The fight scenes are so well done. For Ugandan film, I've not seen, again, obviously, I think Lukman is way ahead, but I've seen Lukman only do something as good as this, or even much better than this. And I've seen the Wakaliwood stuff. The Wakaliwood stuff is not so bad, but in terms of like a fight scene that also blends mildly realistically within like a film, I think that's good. Also like the shooting stuff, the stunts were okay. I think he over-focused on the gun. Sort of, he was so fascinated by the gun. We see, like so many close-ups of the gun, but I forgive him for that.
I mean, if you have the prop, you use it.
I forgive him for that. Generally, I think visually, for me, it works. It works. It's a 30-minute short film, and that 30 minutes runs away. But I think the main reason why that 30 minutes runs is because you're waiting for the story to start, and I think that's why he fails. Yeah.
I think like one thing I agree with you is like the thing about the restaurant, the camera movements. One thing I noticed about a lot of DPs and directors, they just want to go through the story. They forget that the camera is also telling the story in a very specific way. Like the size of shot you use is going to infer a feeling, right? And so I like that. Me, the word is intention, Yeah. It wasn't just like, let's show a restaurant. No. How does the camera move and how does the audience feel as that camera is moving? So there was a lot of intention there. And so that gives me like, hope in general, but for our people, but also like, I like, for him specifically, I have to like salute to that because it's such a small detail that the audience won't consciously notice. But the fact that you are doing that for the love of the game, so that like they feel it in some way. It's those small details that even audience are not aware that they'll be there. I enjoyed this more than this, and they also don't know why. But it's because someone put in time for those details for how they will feel, Because again, different shots, movements make you feel something. So I like that there was again coming from me, the thing that I favor most, the aspect that I favor most about films is the storytelling. And so when you're in a place where you show respect for the story in that way, again, it's such a small moment, and there are other small moments there where you could see he's taking time to just, for example, like when she stops the car and he takes time on her and everything. Someone could have, she stops the car, something happens, but he took a moment to just get like one more shot of her in her mind. Things like that really put you in attention to detail. So like I really liked it for him. And also, I mean, there were moments in the story where I'm like, yeah, God, that's a decision you just made that the story moves, right? But then again, I'm very forgiving of those things because a lot went right. Again, a lot of people, I've seen our fight choreography be abysmal. This guy is clearly fighting the air, right? But this guy, like, they took time to, you could tell like there was a whole thing had before where they're like, oh, let's actually make this feel like something. So yeah, man, I think he did his big one on this one. Like I didn't know who he was. Is he the one that did what else did he do? There was that one about the heart being transported around.
Yes.
He's the same guy.
He's the same guy.
Yeah.
I also forget. It's another short film about.
Is it Borders? No.
No, it's not Borders. Let me find out.
I forget what it is.
Yeah.
Yes. I watched because for me this is the first film of his I watched, and then I was like, oh, okay, this guy is good. Let me see what he has done before. And then I saw that, and
He's the same guy. Eh? So even in that film, like I remember him.
fighting was kawa, but that film had
The storytelling was one bullet short of a war crime, but it was also, like there are times where you get a bad script. Now, like I've told you guys, like a bad script cannot make a good film, but there are times where you see a director fighting a bad script. You get it? Where like he's like, okay, this scene doesn't make sense to be there, but I'm going to shoot it in the best way. You get it? I am going to perfume this crap until something comes. And so like even in this one, like there are moments where like the story was, but I saw him care enough to try to elevate it in those moments. Yeah, and so. Yeah, man, like with a good script, this can be one of the most solid directors
I was trying to find out more about Hakim Zziwa, his movies, because you have mentioned quite a few. And I'm seeing there's Yala, there's Chisenge. I hope that's how he meant it to be called. So there's Yala, there's Chisenge, there's the dark one, and there's Jama.
Jama. I think that is Jama.
Yes, probably the one of the heart.
Is it? I don't know, but like anyway, whether it's him or not, like, but with
it also has the choreography scenes.
Yeah.
I think maybe.
Yeah, but like for this one in particular, like if I just focus on it, like same points still apply. Like script wasn't the most mind-blowing thing, but you can forgive that with how hard the directing was pushing, like there were moments where you could tell like this guy actually cares, and having come across so many directors, you can kind of almost tell the energy that the director must have had on set. There's a director who is so locked in, he can barely hear anything else around him. And then there are those ones who just shoot and you get it. And so he must have been the former where he's trying to create something and he believes in what he's creating. And so that bled through in a real way. And yeah, I'm like, I'll forgive the script for effort.
Yeah, I had to watch it twice. I watched it twice. It's a very good short film. I rarely watch short films. I rarely do. But first of all, the music. Is it the sound, or should I call it a score? Those drums, that kept on right from the start.
It's from Quad Q. So
Yes, that was really good. That was immersive. Like it begged for your attention. So even if you were going to ignore the film and do other things while you're watching it, you're like, okay, it seems like something coming. There's something coming. So it kept me watching. It did. If this was a long film, I still would have watched it up to the end. Yeah, I still would have. As for the story, yes, this was good. I was curious enough to know, okay, what secrets is the father hiding? Then I see, okay, there are envelopes, there's some car, money. But then I thought they would open the envelopes or something. Nothing happened. For me, that's a little bit of a letdown.
The story was not Kawa.
The story was a little bit, because I wanted more. Like I said, if for me this was a full film, 1 hour and 20 minutes, I still would have liked it because the production was really, really good. Mona's performance is really good. She carried the film. Even the people who were looking for her, the guys, Paul and I forget the other guy's name, they were also putting up a good performance. But then it got me asking, if you're ever attacked on the street, you're driving and then someone just shows up and they have a gun, what would be your reaction? Because Mona was really a bit calm, a bit scared a little bit, but calm for a normal Ugandan. Okay, in this country, we rarely get anyone showing up with a gun. But then what I got from the film, and I don't know, it was implied, I don't know if maybe we get a sequel, he would tell us, it appeared as though Mona had military training.
Yes, I see
flashback
shooting with the father.
the flashbacks
So I think she had that training, and that explains why she's able to tackle all these guys. Because a normal person wouldn't. And a normal person would be scared, but then she wasn't. She was like, I have this in control. So I liked it. And the concept of using a lady, like I said, for girl in a yellow jumper, using... Yes. Lookman is credited on this film. I forget what he does, but at the end, in the credits, he is credited.
Well, I think he's the cinematographer. I think that makes sense.
No, he's not the cinematographer.
He's not the cinematographer.
Yeah, he's not.
Okay, but
He's
I
not.
think that would actually make sense.
Yes,
That's
because
why I think
they
when I
both
saw it, I
have,
was thinking it's a competition. Yes.
both films have female leads doing characters that would usually be given to male leads.
Someone has to stand up for the male actor.
No, you guys have had your chance, and it was done so well. But I think the point that annoyed me, and it shouldn't have, this best friend called Joan, it annoyed me a little bit. Like, okay, at the start there are like those 10 minutes where nothing much is really happening, and we're having these phone calls that I used to build the film, because when you get eventually to the 25th mark, you understand why Joan is important, because they're going to use Joan to try and get her to give them the secrets that, oh, we know your friend, oh, we know. But then I'm like, if my life is at stake and then you list my normal friend, am I going to like give you secrets because of a normal friend? Unless there was something deeper that was implied.
Which I think was very obvious, because here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to say it. This was a lesbian film. Here's why. There's nothing wrong with that. The way she comes to tell her, enter. Dominating way. Which I like, by the way. I am very, very pro-lesbian.
You've not had any complaints from me. Man, it's more of this thing you want. Why you have ice cream and they give you more ice cream? Why would you be pissed at that?
No, but anyway, I think, I don't know if it was intentional, but it gave off that vibe. The makeup part also is nice. The fact that they left the acne, because I think he says that this is stressed out campuser. And so,
like it feels real, like you're seeing someone real, because we have that problem with a lot of our Ugandan productions, flashy or not, where like someone is supposed to be, let's say, a maid or something, but they are so well done up and they're like,
the makeup.
they're like,
you get they've just gotten out of bed but with perfect hair, and I'm like we prioritize the glamour over like reality, but like this felt like it reminded me of there's that Jason Statham movie he did where his heart could not slow down or he would die. It was called Crank, I think.
Yeah.
And it was very gritty, and so it reminded me of that.
I think that for me that's actually
I like the grit of it, because I like when things are kind of ugly. You get where it's not like flashy, like you mentioned the whole color thing. It's all flashy and whatever. It takes me out of it. But when things are kind of have that thing, because one of my favorite action movies ever is the Raid Redemption, where the guy is fighting on that vertical slam, and it was very ugly, and even the camera movements were kind of very like schizophrenic and dirty and stuff, and you feel like you are there, you feel like you're in a fight. And so these guys did a good job at also like creating an environment where like, oh, this chick is in danger, you get it, she can hold her own, but there are moments where you're like, yeah.
So yeah, I think the things that don't work obviously is the beginning part. Yeah? You want to introduce all these heavy things and they're happening at the window of the car. First you introduced a friend through that weird phone call. Like, the phone call is useless. Again, that's why. Yes, that's why, again, it's obviously almost implied, right? You have that.
We're right.
I hope we're right.
So interpretation. He will write better next time if he wants to make it clear. Anyway, so apart from that, this guy, you don't know, comes with documents that start the film. I feel like, that is an opportunity to do something cinematically nice, right? And they, again, maybe budget, maybe why, I don't know. But this dialogue they have with a friend, for us to understand why that relationship is important, it should have been in person. It should have been in person. They would have been sitting together on a beach, chilling, if that is what implied to do by either way. We are now accusing him falsely. Maybe he didn't want to overdo it. But they would have been just sitting there together in something that insinuates a romance. Yeah. Then this guy comes, he's like, hey, are you the daughter of this guy? Blah, 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 blah. And they cover your search from there. I think that would have been nice. Then that justifies these guys were tracking their friend at the end because we've seen them at least together. So maybe they've seen them separating, right? I think for me, that one scene, and it wouldn't have cost more to just give it a little bit more context, to shoot it somewhere else with a little bit more context. But for some reason, he wanted to shoot those, the car scene of us seeing the guy walking behind. And so I think that's why that happens in the car. But yeah, that part for me doesn't work. Okay. That is one thing. When I watched that film the first time, after like those 3 minutes, I was like, do I really want to commit to this film? But
the car shots were really good. Even when
but some of those things piss me off. When I see that you've ignored the story to show off.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The side mirror shows the one, because again the one.
Yeah.
And you're seeing like this is the reason why he's ignoring, making this part of an important part of the story. He just wants to show me that he can do this. Yeah. So that for me that pissed me off a bit. Then the other part, of course, is the end. We end up seeing a safe with 2 keys. We don't see the locking thing. I think that would have been important to show why this is protective. But then we see a small part of the safe, and it's just like about these guys would have just cut. There's no reason in the universe. The movie was supposed to happen. The material of the bat was so light, right?
As a props department was.
Yes. So that for me, that at least if they had not shown the safe at all. Yeah. So we don't see the safe, we see her pulling things out, but then they show a bit of that material. And it's so obvious that the movie shouldn't have happened because these government guys who can't break that small cupboard, if they have guns, they would have just shot it actually. So
I think you missed the fact that it's a safe with 2 keys and she already had one.
Yes. No, I'm saying.
He's saying that the material was.
So yes, I'm setting us up to know that this is a very
impenetrable. Safe,
that you have to have 2 keys. But then when you actually see part of the safe, the door of the safe, it is so obvious.
Just a good hammer with the back.
Yes. And I you say they didn't open the envelopes. I think it was important to leave that as a mystery because she pulls out a bundle of 20Ks, which this is not worth fighting for, right?
So it must be the information,
Definitely nothing, yeah. So it was the envelopes, obviously, that is the value. And because it's a short film, you don't want to go deep into that. I think you let us imagine, like now you can imagine whatever it was. Maybe there were nudes of the whatever, stuff like that.
Of the president.
But yeah, I think for me that part works. But now the 2 things, the way he starts it, and the fact that a safe, which is a big prop, like imaginary prop, because it has 2 keys, it's like some sort of security. When you visualize it, it's sort of very, very underwhelming. It sort of doesn't justify the film entirely. So I feel like that fails. And yeah, the fact that, again, there's really no story. Right? It's this is one scene out of like a film. If you're making a movie, this is just a scene, sort of like a sequence that is going to make a film.
Do you think that's what it fell victim to in the scripting, where like in his mind there's a bigger story, but then he doesn't have enough time to show it? So it's just that we got a glimpse into a much bigger story that is in his head.
Yeah, I think when you hear, the director's commentary, He's talking about this is Uganda House, 62 is a meaning for 1962. He has the whole mythology in his head.
Yeah,
he
and
has
then he
the whole
doesn't give it to
mythology in his
us.
head. Yeah, but I think what fails is the problem. For me, the biggest problem in the industry is everyone wants to be the runner, he wants to be the director, he wants to be the DOP, he wants to be the screenwriter. People want to do one-man projects. This guy should have had a writer, should have downloaded this story to someone, tell him like, this is sort of, these are the metaphors I want. I want it to be an action film. Write for me something that makes sense. But he wants to do the writing himself. Everyone, and again, part of it is budget. It's short films usually. You want to show that you can sort of choreograph those stunts, because I think that's his biggest strength, is the stunt and maybe some cinematography as well. And then you end up wanting to write a whole film. But a story has to be written by someone who understands the theory of structure. Yeah. If you want a story to work, you have to give it to someone. It's not talent, like at some point, even football, talent stops and you have to know the basics. You have to know
that's why they have coaches. Exactly. Teams just don't go there. Coaches have to
be so talented, you're so creative, you have like all the funniest scenarios in your head. At some point that stops, unless you're making TikTok, and you have to go back to what? To like the structure, the theory, and the basics to in order to communicate it well. And I think that's what's hurting our industry generally, is directors wanting to write. Guy starts by shooting a wedding, then he realizes, I have a talent for what? For good angles. Then he makes he's hired to do a movie. He's like, this is how they do a movie. Then he comes up with those screenplay. That film is written by him. That is the biggest problem we have in our industry.
I was just imagining there's a fight at the wedding and you're like, I can't shoot fight scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
But the action sequences were done really well.
Yeah, the technical stuff, yes.
And they say they trained for quite a number of days.
It shows.
Yeah, and it shows. And Mona for carrying that.
By the way, kudos to her.
I also like the switching in the language, right? So you put in some Luganda and then the guy is putting the English. I was like, I think, this is a bit typical of like how we talk as well. Yeah, I thought that was kawa. Yeah, but again, you know what you're saying. Like, if the screenplay is bad, we can't talk about how good everything was.
Because we watched this for a story at the end of the day. Because we'd have just watched boxing or kickboxing if there was, you get it.
But it feels for me, okay, that's not even a short film. Like when you're saying, I'm making a short film, the short film itself has some sense of structure, This feels to me like a segment out of a film, not even an episode, because it doesn't have a beginning and an end. Yeah. It's like a segment out of a film. Right now, if you give me that thing, I can write for you a full film where that's just a middle scene. I can write for you a full film where we start from the beginning, we introduce the friend, the father, and so on, and then even at the end, when she takes this stuff, that's where the movie actually starts, where like she tries to overthrow the government and things like that. Mm. I can make for you a film that has that. This film feels like just a segment, an idea that came to his head. He's like, Kasta now.
Yeah, cool story, saved some money.
But isn't that how short films are?
A short film is supposed to say something. At the end of the film, it's supposed to say something, what is this one?
If anything, short films are supposed to be more intentional than features because you have limited time. So every second counts, you have 15 minutes, 30 minutes to make your point. So there's no time to like dilly-dally, like what you're saying about some of the shots, I think, in the car or whatever, where like there's no, like those can be cut out. In a short film, you should always write a short film with the elevator pitch in mind, where like someone barely has interest in your film. So you get it. So there's no time to be like, the sunset. You have to be like, yeah.
But do you think that he wanted to be more like Girl in a Yellow Jumper that ended sort of in a let the audience decide where they want this to go? Like for it to be sort of like a psychological thriller? Do you think he wanted that? Because now the audience has to like think, okay, like you said, the audience has to wonder what's in that envelope.
Yeah, I think that's on the mysterious part.
That's what he wanted?
For me, okay, this is what I see about the film, right? This girl is broke.
But she's broke driving a Prado.
No, but the first dialogue is a raffle. It's a raffle. Yeah, but the first dialogue is clear that, hey, I've reached a place where now I may have to sell the car, right? So he sets that up, okay. I mean, the fact that it was on the phone is a bit, I don't know why he chose to do that. But the story is this. This broke girl is low, like this is the lowest point. The lowest point is now you have to sell your car. For some reason, while you're having that call, then the guy brings the what? The envelope and, all that other stuff. And, then they start following you to kill you, right? And also the dialogue is terrible. I even forgot. Oh my God, that dialogue. Yeah. That dialogue is obscenely terrible. Oh my God. I've forgotten, but oh my God. I like the performances, the fact that these guys were, they tried their best. To be honest, the actors tried their best. The dialogue was so bad, was so bad. That do you want to be as bad as your father? Things like that. It was so bad.
That's what a primary teacher says when they're beating you. Eh?
And then why are you talking while you're fighting? That was okay, but anyway, most action films have.
And it had that
from the 90s.
Like, what? Yes. You can't shoot me, then it first gives you the gist.
Why are you talking while we're fighting? This baby is clearly fighting you. Why are you then talking?
Again, I always wonder, with every film, what was the first thought that led to the film? When you're right. What was the first, what made you write that story? Did you see something, or did you hear something, or did you something just pop in your head and that would be a cool idea? So with this film, if I was to make a wild guess, and there's a good chance I'm wrong, but from my perspective, it was just one of those things man, what if a chick is beating up guys? So now, then that thought is okay, cool, that would look cool, but why? You get, and then you just build flesh around that idea. Yeah, so Kati, I feel it fell victim to that in some way, where as far as scripting goes, where there wasn't, the end goal for him, to me, feels it was just man, I just want to make a cool thing where a cool chick is fighting, a tough chick is fighting. But then you have to that's a TikTok if you make that. So you're okay, cool. What can we add to it to make? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Jene, for me, that's a good summary for most of the Ugandan films. It's just overly long TikToks. Yeah. That is, to be honest, the thing is, the good films are there. I'm not saying they're not there, but I'm saying most of the filmmakers, even the action filmmakers especially, right? Someone is impressed by a scene in a film, they have the equipment, then he calls his friends let's do this. That is what TikTok is. TikTok is, you see someone's TikTok, you're let's redo this thing. This thing looks dope. So that is what Ugandan films are.
There's a short film that I only watched once that I think was the most impactful Ugandan short film I watched. It had this comedian, Daniel O'Mara, and he was playing a father to a dying girl. And so it's him spending the last day with his daughter that is sick. And so it's just a daughter, and she's also aware that she's dying. So she's asking him all these philosophical questions. And I just watched it once, years ago, at a random festival put together by, was it about UN or something? But I remember thinking this is the first time I'm watching a Ugandan film where there's intention from end to end. And Daniel Mara killed it. I don't know why, but comedians, when they go drama, they always, and what I liked with it was it felt like a complete thought. A father is watching her daughter die. She's aware she's dying. And what does that look like with them dealing with that from end to end? That was a complete thought. But then coming back to this one, it just felt man, let a chick kick ass. And then you get it. The rest was built around that. The things that worked. I mean, if it's for that intention, the chick did kick ass. And it looked good and it was very good, but story-wise wasn't there. But as far as excitement, entertainment value, the man delivered. The man delivered.
No, and even when you think about it, this is not a family drama. Let's say bewitching, witchcraft, what. I hate that category of African films. I hate it. So anything that tries to be different will always make me happy. It will stand out because everyone else is making husband finds out you're cheating short film. Maybe you find out that your father is not your father, you adopted or something, or your actual mother is your auntie.
What would have been nice is if she found out the father wasn't the father after all that action. That would have been better.
So that's a lot more film. But I think for me, My biggest defense for it is I've always championed. There was a stretch of movies in Hollywood from like 1990 to 2010. That stretch of 20 years had the most entertaining movies because it was a time like Hollywood was just throwing things at walls and see what sticks. Or remember Con Air? Let's put convicts in a plane and see what happens. Like, Oba, let's Oba, there is a shark that Oba has electrocuted. Like, just throw, you get it? And like, I love movies that are just there to entertain. Sometimes there is no philosophical message to send. And for the most part, I watch this one in that sense. Like, don't try to, you get it?
That's where for me I disagree. I think come up with this shell, yeah? And then after you've written it, sneak in a message. Because usually actually that is the hardest part. It's not like people don't have things to say. Everyone has something. But when you have that shell there, and then you sneak some like in subtle indirect thing. The thing he was saying about 1962, the building of Uganda House. If we actually understood that, if he had shot that well, if he had got someone to write that well, it adds a lot of weight that you don't know. If you entertain, because it's entertaining, those 30 minutes run. If you entertain for 30 minutes, and then after you're like, hey, by the way, the guy was actually saying this, you're like, oh my God, this guy is so clever.
No, I get that, but then again, like I have to push back because I just like sometimes. Have you ever watched a movie where like you're forgetting it as you're watching?
Yes, that's the thing.
Like, sometimes it's just a good way to kill 30 minutes.
No, we have TikTok now for that.
Yeah, now to be honest, I sometimes like the very deep stuff, but sometimes you just want.
It doesn't have to be overly deep.
Yeah.
It just has to be something, Like,
no, I get that, but like
egg in there, So sort of like, someone feels rewarded when you watch a film from thingy to the end, and then you just forget about it. It even if it's good, it feels the way you feel after doom scroll.
No, and I do have my criticism for those, but like again, it goes back to intention. If your intention was just to make a thing where people are fighting, but then there are guys who like try to say something and say completely nothing.
I'm okay with people trying.
Yeah, as well. Like no, to some extent, I'm okay with like, yo, bruh.
You just said that.
It was fun. Go man, that chick. Remember how she kicked him? Like
But most people, for me, okay, the movies I've worked on, people starting that they want to say something in grammar. Yeah. Then it fails. The thing comes out. It's just funny. Then they pretend. For us wanted to entertain. Hey, no, go and say what you're saying.
I remember that thing where like cinematographer fucks up, messes up so badly that you can't even color the thing. So you make it monochrome and be like, that's the artistic vision.
No, but if I'm to ask you guys, when you think short films, what makes a good short film for you guys in the African context, in the Ugandan context? What short film, when you look back on maybe your top 5 short films that you have watched?
In Uganda or like?
In Uganda, in Uganda, because if I put it out to Kenya, Kenya has so many short films. So let's just say here in Uganda, what qualifies to be a short film that's really good?
Okay, I'm going to do this in 3 ways. So one is what I like, what I think, what I'm actually betting on to be the future of Ugandan film. Then one is the second one is the microfilm. This first one, I'm going to come back to it later. The second one is the microfilm. This is 5 minutes or less. This is usually pure spectacle, right? I think Lukman has the one short film he did about someone waking up. It's like 4 minutes. I think it's one of his very first. So it's one of like those close-ups, very intense, very well sound engineered film. I think it has a white chick in it. It has a time and something like that. And then this person wakes up. I forget what it's about. But that is meant to be forgotten, right? But those 4 minutes are so intense that it captures your full attention. Even this kung fu thing he has with Wawuyo. There's that kung fu thing where, in the end, they go and rescue like a kid. I think those micros, I think it's so good at that. Like if you're doing micro shot. But if you're going more than 10 minutes, you have to say something. Unfortunately, you cannot be 15-minute TikTok. That is not okay. For me, I don't think that's fair to the person viewing. So when you widen it a bit, which is the typical short film that gets into festivals, right? There you have to say something. You have to either comment on a big theme, which is what usually short films are about. You have to comment on love. You have to comment on betrayal. You have to comment on politics, maybe. You have to say something. So that type of short film is doing that. then those are the two that I know that people usually make. But for Uganda's case, I think what actually we are going to end up resolving to is going to be this 30-minute kind of film. Our feature stroke short films are going to balance there. People are going to make a full film with a full arc, and because of budget and because maybe of anticipated attention span, they are going to start creating films, and we're going to see a lot more of those. And you see them on YouTube because we have a platform here called Cinematography, and we went to YouTube and got all the films, all Ugandan films, and we wanted to organize them for portraying them better. And if you see most of the films, it's there, 30 to 45, and I think that someone is going to do that well, that Netflix will start accepting them. You understand? That Netflix will start accepting your 40-minute film. And I want to call that a short film because it's going to have the full structure of a feature film, but shorter, much shorter. So I think that would be what I would bet on. But in terms of a typical short film, it would be the micro or the message film.
I think for me, as long as a film, in general, as long as a short film has a complete thought, you get it? In the sense, beginning, middle, end. This is what I'm setting up. This is the resolution. I'm good. Because, it's been done to varying degrees of success. But as long as I don't feel like kind of like what you're saying, I don't want sometimes to start off something and where are we going, And so for me, again, I forget the name of that short film. It was such a long time ago, and I only watched it once to show how much and I waited for it to be released everywhere. Never got released. I don't know if it got released or not.
Maybe it's on YouTube.
Maybe. I just know it had Daniel O'Mara in it, and it featured a young girl. I don't know what her name was. And it was just, again, it felt so complete to me because it did not have plot, and it was basically it was stitched together moments, but there were moments that end at her dying and him crying over her, but at the same time there being closure. So you've set up a problem and the problem has shown up and you've handled it. I like I like knowing that whatever you went for has been complete entirely, right? But then this thing of slicing things out sometimes,
making the movie in the edit.
You get it? Yeah. So I like me whatever you're doing, as long as I can feel like
what you intended to do.
Yeah, it's what you intended to do, and you completed the whole thing. Because I've watched a few. Let me see which other Ugandan thing. I mean, I have a friend of mine who made something that I helped him work on. It was called Cut It Off. It was, I think, in the category of short films, in microfilms again. Well, I know it was hair. His message was about hair, And this guy goes to a barber shop. He's supposed to cut off his hair because his bride-to-be's family sees him as a muyaye. And then after, him and his barber have this back and forth, and then they conclude to just make his hair better, but he's not going to cut off his hair, right? And again, it was a complete thought, in that way. And so I like people finishing what they start in that way, and that's why I have a few book editor friends who tease me about this, but I hate ambiguous endings with all my might. This thing of and then there's always that thing director said, and then we give the story to the audience.
Yeah, Nolan does that.
Kill yourself. You get I hate that so much. I'm gonna and then we'll never know who survived. Guy, finish your thing. I hate it so much because it just feels like you've brought me here, you've made out with me, we've done all these things, and now you're there with a headache. You get it? And so I hate it. I hate ambiguous.
No, but that makes a lot of sense, by the way. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so as long as I feel like something has been completed, it has started
it doesn't matter what the length is.
Yeah. So the Daniel O'Mara film is called Heaven Sounds Boring. Yes, it's Daniel and Nadia.
If you want to know anything about anyone, you ask a woman to check her phone. What's his blood type? Did you find out?
No, I didn't.
Should we give you 5 more minutes?
Tell us about what you think about short films.
I think, they are not widely watched. Remember, I represent the audience. Yeah. And I know that most of you guys are watching short films because they are shot by your friends. So let's say a friend that someone that you know in the film industry has made something and yeah, you're going to watch it. But what about the audience? How are we marketing the short films? In fact, the only reason we are here talking about Building 62 is because Hakim promoted it and it somehow ended up on my For You page. And I was like, interesting. So does the Ugandan audience, the normal Ugandan people who just watch films, do they watch short films? Not really. Not really. And it's not our fault because now I'm speaking for them and I. It's not our fault. It is that they are not marketed. Like, how else would I have known that Building 62 exists? How else? Like, it's not that YouTube has a promotional future for these films. No, it doesn't. Just because your film or just because your short film is on YouTube movies doesn't mean that I'm going to see it when I open my YouTube. Just because your short film is on, let's say, some platform that you expect many people to know, doesn't mean that I know about it. So many Ugandans would love to watch short films, especially shot by Ugandans. They don't know about them. They don't know. They don't even know where to find them. Like, and even, well, someone is going to say, well, the distribution issues, blah, blah, blah. But the issue is you're making this film, you're putting in your money, you want it to be watched. Whether or not they watch it through piracy or they are paying, but I think every director and producer wants someone to be talking about their film. Whether they paid to watch it or they just came across it, you want the dialogue to be about your film, but we don't know about them. We don't.
They could actually just DM us now and
Send us those short films and we shall talk
Yeah,
about
by
them.
the
I've watched only, I think, maybe 5 short films, and all those short films have been sent to me. Like someone is like, review, I've made a short film, help me review it. I've made a short film, help me review it. And they are very good films. I think, actually, some of the best Ugandan films out there are short films. But where are they? It's what I always say. It's what I always say. Where are they? Because this film, Building 62, can be likened to Girl in a Yellow Jumper. The similarities are there. You can even list them. There are probably 10. There's a moving car, the car sequence, the lady having a lead lady fight, the action, then the ending that just either is calling for a sequel, is calling for something. Because even Girl in a Yellow Jumper, we want something. We want something more, but it isn't there. So, and it's shot so beautifully, same as Girl in a Yellow Jumper. Very good. But you see, it's a short film, but most people don't know about it. So there's laxity in promotion.
yeah.
You're making these films, you're making them forward for the festivals.
Yeah.
Should I say that these short films, Ugandan short films, are being made for the festivals and for the icon?
short film genre in general is for festivals. I don't think it's commercial. No one makes short films for making money. Maybe there are people who do it. That's why
But it's rare for a short film to
In the US,
maybe come the commercial, even the US.
in the US right now, because when I do check my feed on Instagram and wherever, there's so many short films that are now being marketed as films. Like, watch my film, watch, not even for just the festival, but this is a film that is interesting. Watch it, and they are now marketing it. And YouTube movies are where to go now. Like, look at Iron Lung. Is it Iron Lung? Yeah, it's a film made by a YouTuber, and it has he has made a lot of money from it, that they even had to start showing it at the cinema.
Is it a short film?
It's not a short film, but it's almost akin to that because it's also a YouTube film. It was intended to be a YouTube film. So I can say that some short films are intended to be YouTube films, right? Like, you don't think that they will go anywhere other than that. But what happens if we start marketing our short films? Yeah. What happens? So as the audience, well, we don't watch short films. Maybe you don't make them for us. You guys need to tell us, who do you make the short films for?
It's usually also like some sort of application.
Yeah,
Like
it's to show ability.
To show that, okay, guys, I can.
So it's a film industry thing.
Yes.
So the rest of us are just intruders. Should I say that? We're in.
But no, but that's what I was saying is I see Ugandan film strongly going towards that, where we make a commercial 30-minute film with intention of selling, making money, even like product placement and all that stuff, yeah, which is not like.
And I think it can make money because even Netflix, there's space on it. There's space for it on Netflix. There is.
There's a channel on YouTube called Omeleto. Yeah, I love that channel. That's usually my pastime channel. They have like so many short films. So if like you're interested in watching short films, that's a good place to go and like check out. Most of them are Western films.
Yeah, there's also short of the week.
So yeah, they even have like
It's you guys in the film industry that
even
know
have like
these
a
things.
comedy section.
Yeah.
I think most of us are hearing these names for the first time. So I think either we'll put the links
Yeah,
because it's the first time we are hearing them.
we can put all the links for even we'll put a link to building 62 in the description.
We'll put 62 links. Repeat the Khalid.
But overall, how did you rate the film?
Out of
10.
10.
We always rate up.
Go first.
I think I'll put it at a solid 6.5 for me, because like again, it was above average in effort that it made to be entertaining, to actually care about stunts. I love the camera work because it was intentional. So on the strictly filmmaking side of things, on Ngayo on set and whatever, yeah, I feel like there was a lot of heart in it. So it's really above a 5 for me. Story is where I reduce, and I'm like, man. So you just parked at the right place where a guy was going to pop up like a genie. You get things like that where I'm like, plot holes were there. So story kind of killed it for me, but I can't ignore how much effort and love it was projecting. Like it was really.
Yeah. So for me, again, my message is, you people have to hire writers. We cannot keep making excuses. You people have to hire writers. If you want us to take your movie seriously, if you want us to take your work seriously, don't do it yourself.
Put a graphic when he says that way, it just points to me.
Don't do it yourself, hire writers. So yeah, for me, I'll say, again, I'll give it a 5. Because I feel like if there is no story, what am I doing? You'd have made a TikTok. That is how I feel. I think the technical stuff is well done, and that is why they take 5. I'm giving them like a perfect 5. The other 5 was supposed to be for the story, but it now is 0. Yeah.
Okay, I give it a 7 because it's, like I said, I haven't watched many short films, but there's one I watched and honestly I was doing other things. It did not, like when you're making film, yeah, you have the art of commanding attention. In marketing, well, for us, we'll say, what is the value addition? Why do you need me there, right? So why should I watch your film? Why should I pay full attention to your film? And this is YouTube. That means I can watch it while I'm doing a million other things. Why should I open the entire tab and just sit there and focus on your film? That, I think, is more important than even all these other things that we invest in. So the sound, the quad guys, or however much they were paid, yes, they kept me there. They kept me there because I was like, okay, something is coming. Like they kept you anticipating something to happen, and indeed it happened. And when it did, it was good. So it's a 7. The acting was good. We need to get Mona here to tell us how she did, what she did, how did she train. Then, was it a lesbian film? Was it not a lesbian film? Ken would like to know. I feel
I only take yes.
Yes or yes.
because then someone can say, could they just have been friends? But well, she had this manly.
Oh, but it's us who don't know what female friendships look like.
Yeah, I thought that because then I was like, I can't like sacrifice my life for any of my friends. They're probably going to watch this, but I don't think someone can come at me and tell me, oh, I'm going to kill this.
You have responsibilities to people. You can't just be.
But if you say family and close friends in quotes, yes, I would be like, don't touch him or don't touch.
So that's actually the question, because Now we have to leave that ambiguous. Do you think in the script it was a man?
And then they switch it up.
Yeah, and then then they switched and forgot that the man actually had a what? A romantic interest.
Probably, but Joan is crucial to the film. In fact, she's listening.
No, yeah. I think the performance of
It can be like a weak man, and she has to rescue him. Modern men.
no, that's just a by that way, because you guys are speculating about the sexuality of the character.
We're just sick. But also, we're in a country that's heavily homophobic. So if you put that out there and you're like, okay, this is a lesbian film, that's not going to sell. UCC is going to be like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah. So implied is how to go when you're dealing with.
For deniability, to be like,
Yeah. Let us be perverts and let us think. Like now, Ken jumped on that very.
pervert lives matter.
Oh, yeah. But we hope that by watching this, you're going to watch Building 62 and let us know in the comment section what you think of it and how you rate it. Also, don't forget to follow all our pages and make sure you're watching African films, be it short films, whichever film that you're watching, watch at least an African film once a week if you can. But yeah, as always, don't forget to follow us for more content like this.
Thank you.